Hello, my name is Zachary Newslak. I will be showcasing the changes that have been made to our game in No Name Team. I already have the game loaded up, so without further ado, we will jump right into it. So firstly, we're going to be jumping into survival mode, and we've come up with a balancing of the score being reset when the player dies, and this so that the player at a very high wave does not have a very high score, that they can just keep racking up points to get some of the best guns in the game mode. So my score is about 45 right now. I'm going to let this zombie kill me. And the score is reset. Cool. And now for the rest of the showcases, aside from Wings Boss, will be showcased inside a next level. And we're going to jump right into this. So the mechanic that we are going to show off first is the camera movement. We have it set that anything below 10 units away from the player, the camera will be attached to the player. So it's about right here. I can move my reticle. The camera will be fixated to the player. However, after exceeding that 10 unit mark, it is attached to an empty game object, thus increasing the range. This allows players to look farther and be able to kind of plan out where they want to go. We also have a tab camera that is like the extended camera. However, you cannot see any of the enemies. There should be an enemy right here and over here, but you cannot see them. But once I exit out of the tab, they're still there. So the next mechanic I will be showcasing is the dash. For a point of reference, this enemy will be about 10 units away. So our dash, what we used to have was that the enemy over here would be the length of the dash of about 10 units, and the player would go at such a fast speed that they had no idea where they were going and what they were doing. Now we've kind of shortened that range to about 7 units moving forward. I cannot dash while standing still. It's much shorter, it's much more precise, and the player has an understanding of where they're going. It also has an invincibility feature. What we also have in the dash is we have added that the dash does damage as well. So I will be using this enemy as a reference. I dash towards him and it does about 50 towards the enemy. Next is enemy detection. There we go. So as you can see, the enemy has his back facing towards me. He is not shooting at me whatsoever, and it does not appear that he's going to attack me. Next is the checkpoint system, and to showcase this, I will be jumping into this pit of lava, and it will spawn me back right here. So I'm going to fall in, and I am back where I was. I have a life counter here that is down to 0, and if I fall in one more time, it's game over. So that shows that we have a full game loop, allowing the player to have a start and a finish. We're going to be jumping in really quickly, and once I continue, I start in the same area. Once the player spawns back in, everything will be reset after they die. After their life meter has been set to 0 and they die again, everything will be reset from the score, the ammunition, to whatever they have in their inventory when we add more items. However, if I die with something in my inventory, it gets reset. this will be cut periodically to showcase specific changes that we made to the boss and how it affects gameplay and why we chose to do these things. It will take quite a while, and that is why I'm cutting it into pieces. So, without further ado, here we go. So the boss has finally started, and the first thing the player wants to do is run over to these weak points. There are about 3 of them within this room, and I have to destroy all of them for the boss to actually start taking damage.
Warning. Energy transporter of layer 1 was destroyed, increasing the damage of projectile granted.
So now that I actually destroyed one, the damage of the projectiles will do more. We've also added these into the other pillars, which will in turn increase the fire rate and the rotation of the actual boss.
Warning. Energy transporter of layer 2 was destroyed, increasing the projectile speed granted. Warning. Energy transporter of layer 3 was destroyed, increasing the fire rate was granted.
So now that I've actually destroyed all 3 weak points, the walls can now be damaged. And I have the assistance of these auto machine guns to take down the health. The color walls support... The color walls are actually the color walls are how I get into the boss. These, as you can see, give feedback to the player that they are actually being damaged. And to keep progressing forward, I have to destroy most of these walls to try and find a way in to get into the core and actually start dealing some massive damage. Damage to the core, it's going to release these toxic spheres that will damage the player if the player does not exit. It's about 1 damage to the player about every second or so. So I can stay in here for quite a while before having to leave.
Has been successful. B27, Squad, C19, move to Area Z13 to stop the intruder in all cost.
So now that the cooldown phase has started, some squads of enemies will start spawning. However, there is a little bit of a problem that the navigation and pathfinding is... Some of the enemies' pathfinding does not work as intended. As you see, they're shooting, but they are not actually getting towards me. And this sphere is not going away.
B27 down. C19 down. All allied unit down. No signs of life found.
So now that I've destroyed all 3 squads, I am now tasked with actually defeating the boss. Everything has been set to the max fire rate, max rotation speed, max damage for the toxic sphere, and now it's a self-explosion. As you can see, it's about the size of the boss. Once I enter out of the sphere, it will cause another sphere.
Self-explosion activated. Glory to our great leader.
There we go. And there's our end goal. So that is all the changes that we made. We hope that you enjoy. This is TeamNoName, and we hope that you have a wonderful day.